What's up guys? Today I'm here to talk about fall fragrances. It's quite exciting. Fall's one of my favourite seasons and it's also one of my favourite seasons for fragrances. Today we're going to look at 5 great fragrances which you can wear anytime, day, night, school, office, date. You can wear them anytime and you're going to smell great all the time you wear them. Now, none of these fragrances are going to be the fragrances that jump out and grab people and say, hey, look at me. There's no like spice bomb in here or anything like that. These are all fragrances which are utterly safe. They're safe. I'd say they're all blind buys. You could safely blind buy them and you can safely wear them. And what do we mean by safe? I mean basically quite soft fragrances. So, you know, they're not going to choke anyone out. They're not going to be overbearing or oppressive in any way. But people come close to you, they're going to be able to smell you and they're going to know you're smelling pretty great. So there's nothing niche here. There's no difficult fragrances, there's no expensive fragrances. They're all kind of, although some of them are quite costly, none of them extend into the kind of niche fragrance bracket of cost. So they're all kind of easy, basically readily available and across a variety of price brackets, you know, from cheap to sort of moderate. And you know, that was kind of one of the things I wanted to do, is just make sure they're all easily available. So yeah, here we go. Let's get straight into it. Coming in at number 5, we've got one of the most criminally underrated fragrances on the market. We've got Hugo Boss XY. Now this is discontinued now, but it's easily available on the internet and it's easily available for cheap. Reason I say it's criminally underrated is it just gets panned. A lot of people don't like it. I don't know why. I think it's one of the most unique, sort of cheap, fresh smelling fragrances on the market. And yeah, it's nothing that's going to blow your mind, but it's unique. And as a kind of signature, safe signature scent, I think it's really great and it has a really particular use that I'm going to talk about. So the notes in this thing, the reason it makes it quite unique in my eyes is you have like pear leaf mixed with basil, which is a kind of nice peppery smell. And then you've got patchouli, mint. It's very fresh, it's very soft, it's very subtle. But that pear leaf and that basil and that mint, those three are like the trifecta for me in this fragrance. And they're just really nice smell. It's really clean smell and it's really fresh. But here I think is where it gets tripped up, and that's because it has that fresh smell and a lot of people say, oh hey, this is a freshie. And as a freshie, like a summer freshie, maybe it's not. Like they're better. You can certainly get nicer sort of summer freshies. I don't think it's really great in the summer, but I also don't think I ever wear this in the summer. Where this really shines, and I'm telling you, it's just a beautiful scent. It's on those cold, full days where the sun is shining, but it's, you know, the temperature's dropping and it's a little bit, not bitterly cold, but just fresh cold. And it does the same in the spring as well. And, you know, the scent then, you're working with what you've got from nature. So you've got this kind of fresh, cold day that's like nice and sunny, and rather than fight against it by banging on all these strong spicy fragrances, you're sort of playing with what you're given. So you know, you're kind of enhancing the natural smell and feel of the air around you with this fragrance. And the pepper from the basil, that kind of peppery spice, is just enough warmth to kind of keep it warm enough for those colder days. And I think on those days, I think this is just a little gem. I think it's completely underrated. I think people absolutely miss a trick. It's got the Hugo Boss DNA to it, but just with this gorgeous peppery mint pear sort of uniqueness. And I just think it's a gorgeous scent, and I think that's why it's on this list. I think I have to include it in the list. I think it's limited slightly. I think it's really only good for those days, like when it is fresh and you get that kind of coldness. And I think for that, it's just perfect. But the reason I put it down at number 5 is because it's gorgeous. It's got like a soft musk underneath as well. but it is a little limited. So this is going in at number 5, but it's, you know, the difference between 5 and 1. You know, I wear all of these during the fall and I enjoy all of them. So yeah, this goes in at number 5, Hugo Boss XY. So coming in at number 4, now this is a scent which, again, I don't think it's underrated because I think people rate it a lot. But what I've heard people always say is this is a kind of very limited scent, and I feel that's a shame. So what we've got Burberry London. Now, Burberry London, you hear all the time people say, oh hey, this is a fragrance just for Thanksgiving, just for Christmas, it's Christmas in a bottle, etc, etc. You know, you can only really wear it at those times. And I think that's criminally underrated. I think this is one of the greatest fall fragrances. It's gorgeous for fall. I mean, it is fall, like that is what this is. The notes you get from it, immediately when you spray it, you're going to get a quite strong kind of cinnamon, sweet vibe mixed with a kind of very green, woodsy pine. And the pine is really strong. And there's not actually pine in it, but it's just a kind of amalgamation of the other woodsy notes that create this kind of pine, along with a kind of spicy mimosa kind of vibe under there as well. And it's just gorgeous. And I can see how people say, oh, it smells like a Christmas tree covered in like wine, for example, I think I've read. And I can kind of see that, I kind of get that. It's got a kind of booziness to it, and it definitely has a pine vibe to it. But I think it's better than that. I think you can get away with wearing it all fall, and I think it will smell gorgeous. Now, what I will say is it's got this like, and I've rarely seen this, is that it's got this kind of very like 80s powerhouse kind of undercurrent to it that just kind of sits under there. It reminds me very much of something that I remember my dad wearing when I was sort of growing up in the 80s. And it's definitely got that to it. It's got kind of 80s powerhouse vibe to it. If you don't like that, you might want to steer clear, but I think it's not to say that it doesn't smell dated. It's got that kind of undercurrent, but that's all it is. It's just an undercurrent, just kind of anchors it in. And outside of it's just this gorgeous kind of very fall, very winter, spicy, woodsy, boozy, cherry, cinnamon, pine smell. And it's really nice. It has a kind of smoky leather in there as well, or a smokiness. It's just fantastic, and I really can see why people say it's Christmas in a bottle, but I think it's a better scent than that. I think you can get away with wearing this any time in the fall, and you can wear it in the winter as well. You know, like I say, these are all safe scents. You know, you can wear these more or less any time. And that kind of brings me to why I wanted to include this in the list, is for another reason, is you really can wear this like any time. It's not got the punch of Spice Bomb, but it's got, so, you know, it's safe enough to wear in an office, I think, but you can easily get away with wearing it to a club, and I think you would be okay. That said, I don't think this is a very sexy fragrance at all. I don't think this is, I don't think it has much sexiness to it. I think what this fragrance does have to it though, you know, if you know, to not kind of talk it down, what I think this fragrance does have to it is just a happiness. Like, I genuinely think that this fragrance is a sort of fragrance where people smell it and they just feel they want to smile, like you know, like they just want to make friends with you. Maybe they don't want to, you know, jump your bones, but they want to make friends with you. This is such a great, friendly, happy scent. I genuinely think if someone smells this on you and they don't feel kind of a warmth inside themselves, then they're probably like a cold-hearted robot. You know, like there's something seriously wrong with them. So yeah, number 4, Burberry London. Okay, so we're on the top 3, so we're into classy, safe signatures from this point on, pretty much. Number 3, we have Bvlgari pour Homme Soir. Bvlgari pour Homme Soir is a classic, classy scent, and it's sexy as hell. And I'll tell you what, it's unique to a degree in that you won't find too many people wearing it, and at least I've never known too many people to wear it, and not many people talk about it, and it's a shame because it's a classy scent. It's quite linear, and obviously and it's very soft, so obviously that makes it, you know, fit this video being like a safe signature, but it's classy as hell and it's sexy as hell. So the notes in this are Darjeeling tea, papyrus and bergamot, and there's also supposedly like an amber kind of smell in there. Obviously amber isn't a smell, so it's an amalgamation of notes, but it's really classy. From the bottle, it's a little bit citrusy, it's a bit citric, but when you use it on your skin, I'm actually wearing it today, like it's just really soft, and the tea note develops and it's just gorgeous, and there's a little spiciness in there, and it's just gorgeous. It's very soft, it invites you in, and that's, I think, where the sexiness comes from in this scent. So it's not a scent that's going to be oppressive. It's not, you can wear this anytime you like, but where I would wear this is like evenings, dates, where you're not quite sure what to wear because you don't want to, maybe you don't, like on a first date, maybe you don't know the person too well, you're not really sure, you don't want to go in there kind of like reeking of some really strong scent. This is the one. And I tell you what else this is great for, is that it's a very subtle scent. It's very like, it sits close to the skin, draws people in, because, you know, rather than sort of be like, hey, bold, big bold scent, it just sort of like just allures people in and says like, you know, like, check me out, I'm a classy guy and I smell good. Like, it's just gorgeous and it's sexy as hell. So number 3, Bvlgari Homme Soir. You could wear this anytime, but for me, this is a fantastic for this time of year, full winter, sort of like evening, date night scent. In the office, at school, you're just gonna outclass all of the people wearing tacky, sweet, nasty, overbearing perfumes. You're just gonna breeze through them with this, and you're gonna be sexy as hell. Okay, we got number 2 now. Now number 2 and number 1, I think are interchangeable to a degree, but I had to put this as number 2 because my number 1 it's always going to be number 1. But number 2, we have Prada Amber pour Homme. Prada Amber pour Homme, beautiful smell. It's a masculine smell that leans feminine. At the same time, I think if I was doing this video as a woman, I could say this is a feminine smell that leans masculine, which means it's basically the very definition of unisex fragrance. It's quite floral. Off the top, you get a lot of citrus sort of going on. It's quite a strong, it's just a fantastic opening in this. It's quite strong, but it's gorgeous. And as that kind of settles down, you get myrrh, incense, some spiciness, some vanilla, some creaminess. It's just soft and gorgeous, and there's some leather in there, there's some smoke, but at the same time it's never heavy. It's always very fresh smelling. It's a Prada, so it's incredibly soapy smelling. A lot of people sort of can say they don't like it because it just smells like expensive soap and they feel like they're spending their money on smelling like expensive soap. But at the same time, it's what makes it a safe scent. And I tell you what, basically, you see like Prada L'Homme on the internet. There's a lot of kind of hype about Prada L'Homme, and this is the kind of genesis of that fragrance. Like all Prada men fragrance, this was the first this was the first fragrance from Prada for men, and it's kind of carried that soapiness that they've taken through all of their other fragrances, but this is, in my eyes, it's still the best, and it's just gorgeous, and it's such a fragrance that's quite soft. It's not overpowering. Again, it's safe, it's signature worthy, it's just great, but there is such a mass sort of confusion of notes in this that are so well blended that it's never boring. Like this is one of the least boring kind of safe signatures I think there is, because it's constantly evolving. Yes, it has that kind of powdery soapishness. If you can get over that, it's got a lot else for you as well. The kind of saffron, the myrrh, the vanilla, the smoke, the musk. It's just beautiful, and it's very soft. I do think, you know, some people might find it a little bit feminine, but I would say don't worry about it. Have the balls and just absolutely smash it, because you will smell fantastic. And that's why this is number 2, because it's just a beautiful fragrance. And I think, you know, as a kind of safe scent, I think it's also unique and interesting, which is really important, especially for me in my line of work. I want to wear safe scents, but I don't want to be boring, you know, and I don't think this is. It's such a complicated array of notes in this that, you know, you can smell this for days and not get bored. And I think that's why this is great. And it's just sexy, clean, soapy, just got out of the shower, but also smelling absolutely fantastic. Fantastic scent. And I think this has to be number 2. And I think it's almost interchangeable with number 1, which we're going to get to now. So here we are, number 1. It has to be Hermes, Terre de Hermes. I mean, I've caned this. This is, as soon as this goes, I'm going to just buy bottle after bottle after bottle. This scent is amazing. Now, as with all of these scents, I think you can wear them all year round, obviously being like safe signatures. Of course you can wear them all year round, same with this scent, but I do think it lends itself to fall, and I think in fall and winter as well, but specifically in fall, there is nothing better. This is the masterpiece. This is a masterpiece of a scent, absolutely. It's unfortunately the most expensive scent on this list. Most of these can be bought cheaply. Like this one, Hugo XY is cheap. Burberry London is just a little over cheap. Still not expensive. I think I can give you pounds if that helps. They're about £20, £25. That's Bvlgari for 100ml is about £40. So I don't think that's, you know, for 100ml, I think that's a good price. The Prada is a little bit more on the pricier sort of scheme of things, and Terre de Hermes is, again, it's sort of the next step up from that. I think this is about 60, 70, 80 pounds. I don't know, to be honest. I bought this last year and I can't remember. But I mean, I always buy, or generally tend to buy 50ml because I have so many. So, you know, none of them are, if you stick to 50ml, it's not going to kill your pocket. Anyway, let's get back to the scent, because this is an absolute masterpiece. This is dirty, orange, bitterness, earthy. It's just everything that is fall. This says, like, to me, fall, like the rotten leaves on the ground. And this is perhaps a disgusting way to describe this, you know, rotten leaves and earth and dirt. But don't get me wrong, this is just beautiful. It's got this strong orange overtone when you spray it, and that kind of settles to this kind of bitter, musky earthiness. There's this smoke in there, and it's just gorgeous. It's this absolute masterpiece of a scent. It really is. And it's masculine, like undeniably masculine. It's sexy, it's gritty, it's interesting, and it's just amazing. It's mature. If you wear this to, you know, if you're a younger guy and you wear this, you're just gonna make all of the people around you that are, you know, that are your age, that are walking around maybe kind of rocking their kind of young guy sense, and you're just gonna go, little boys, go home. Like, this is the daddy. And it, you know, maybe now you might think, oh hey, maybe that smells a bit old-fashioned. No, this is just an absolute masterpiece. And at this time of year, there's just nothing better. Now, what I will say is, I think you can probably get through life with just these 2 scents. I think if you had the Prada Amber Pour Homme and Hermes, Terre, I think you could easily get through life with just those two. These are kind of like good cop, bad cop. They're just amazing scents that are signature and safe and worthy of any time. But you could easily get through life with these two. Say you have your good cop and your bad cop, you know, you've got this for going to work and doing things which are kind of fresh, clean and good to go, and you've got your Hermes for when you kind of want to kind of go out in the evening, things like that. You could easily just wear these two. If you want to complicate your life, throw in Bvlgari pour Homme Soir, and then you've got your kind of good cop, bad cop, and your kind of sexy cop, if that's such a thing. You know, I think all of these are quite sexy, but I think this is by far the one that's kind of more alluring than the others. It's got a kind of mystery. It's got a kind of dark mystery to it. One thing I will say that kind of lets the Bvlgari down is it doesn't last very long. You know, on my skin, 4-5 hours tops, and it's kind of more or less gone, which is a shame. But it's okay for the evenings. You know, if you wear it out in the evenings, you don't need much more than that. That's okay. So, you know, but for a full day's work, it's going to struggle. You might have to kind of reapply it if you were doing that and you wanted to smell all day. But yeah, I say you could easily get through life with these two. Chuck in this one to complicate your life, and you've got like a trifecta of perfumes there, which are going to just absolutely destroy, to be frank. You know, and then if you really want to complicate, hey, chuck in this one as well, because why not? For those days where you're feeling kind of fun, friendly, casual, we've got people coming over for the evening. Why not, you know, chuck it on. It's just a friendly, happy scent that's going to make people smile. It's going to make people want to hug you, and it's going to make people want to be friends with you. It's just, well, maybe it's not going to make people want to be friends with you if you've probably got to be a decent person as well. But it's a gorgeous scent. And then, you know, that's just, why not? We're really complicating things. Chuck in Hugo XY. This was a bit of an outfielder on this list. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's overlooked, and I think that's a shame. So I wanted to include it. And I think for its niche purpose, I think, you know, on those days where it's bitterly cold but fresh, it's fantastic. It's really, you know, on those days, it sits with the best. It's not the best all days, whereas you could easily wear Terre d'Hermes every day if you had the nose for that and you didn't get bored. And, you know, Prada as well, you could wear every single day. I don't think you could wear this every single day. I think you get bored quite quick. But on those, you know, select days in the kind of fall, winter, maybe spring, where it's kind of cold, it's a great fragrance, and it sits up with all of these 5. I think it's criminally underrated. So yeah, they're my 5 fragrances. Alright guys, cheers, thanks for watching. You know, if you agreed with my list, it's a bit different, I hope. It's a bit, gives you something to think about. Chuck it in the comments. If you disagree with my list, chuck it in the comments. Tell me your 5. These are not my top 5, these are just 5 great, safe signature scents. So yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you like. Cheers.